Me. Great. Well, very good morning, guys. Okay. Last day, what are we learning? We've just been learning about the jump statements, the 4 jump statements I explained here. What are the 4? Go to, break, continue, and return. Okay. Go to. Where you can use go to? Anywhere you can use go to. No issues with that. But you require a label. If at all you want to go to, you want to use a go to, you require a label. Second one, break. Break can be used in 2 scenarios. One, you can use it under a switch case. Second thing, default. What is that? Default is part of switch case only. Again, you're telling default separately. One is under switch case and the second one is inside a loop. One is switch case, second one inside a loop. Continue. Only in a loop. Continue can be used only in a loop. Return, we use it in methods to jump out of a method. And this return statement, guys, it has one extra option also. While returning, if required, it is capable of returning a value, but that is not at all mandatory. The main purpose of return is jump out of a method. The main purpose of the return is jump out of a method. That's what the return is all about. Okay. Yeah. This is all what we discussed in the previous session. Okay. And I explained about try parse. Understood try parse? Actually, try parse is also parse only. But difference is parse doesn't have any built-in error handling code. Try parse has a built-in error handling code. That's why if conversion fails, parse will throw you error. If conversion fails, try parse will not throw you error. Without throwing error, it will tell you a status, success or failure. Success is true, failure is false. With that only we implemented our logic. What is the program we written? Yeah. So we use this method, try parse. It has an error handling code. Basically, generally we know that a method returns only one value. Functions actually return only one value, but this try parse method is returning 2 values. What are the 2 values now? One is status, one is converted result. Status is coming for you as a return type here, and a converted result will come for you. Out indicates what? Output. The out here indicates output. The converted result will come for you as a output. We'll discuss more on this particular output in the object-oriented programming. Okay. So I'll explain you over there. But otherwise, this is what. So it returns you the status also. It returns you the converted value also. So now here you are checking. What is it if converted value is 0 or 1? No need to process because no need to print a multiplication table for a 0 or a 1 now. Next. If status false means conversion failed. If conversion failed, can I print a multiplication table? No. So I'm telling you what? Please enter unsigned integer values only and calling the return there. So with this, the control automatically jumps out of the method. So in both the two cases, here and here, the control will jump to where? End of the method. Okay. So this is all about the jump statements. The next thing what we're going to talk today is arrays. Today we are going to discuss about the concept of arrays. Yes, what is an array, guys? You learned about arrays in C language. What's an array? A collection of it is a collection of similar type values that are stored in a sequential order, that is either in the form of rows or rows and columns. Either in the form of rows or rows and columns. Okay. So right here, this is what you learned in your C language. That the same thing I'm just going to tell you. But one thing is I want to change the definition, not the definition. I want to change a word here. What is that? What is that? It is a collection of. But I want to just change this as set of. Don't use the word collection of. Reason is we have a separate concept called collections here again. We are going to come across collections separately again. That is why I'm not using the word collection here. I'm saying set. Anyhow, the word set correctly suits an array. Why? Array values you'll write in curly braces only. Na? You learnt in your school days, na? Sets. Sets will be in the curly braces only. Na? Anyhow, that is the best word than using a collection of. It is a set of similar type values that are stored in sequential order. In a sequential order, that is either in the form of rows or rows and columns. However it is, we're going to store it. Okay, fine. Now, how do you declare this arrays? How do you declare an array? If you recollect, okay, first thing, before going to tell you how to declare an array, how do you access the values of an array? By using index. By using index. Okay, see, just like other languages, in C# also, we access the values of an array by using its index, which starts from where 0 and ends at n minus 1, where n is what? Number of items in the array. Where n represents what? Number of items in the array. Correct? Number of items in the array. Okay, next. You know this. C# supports two types of arrays. Two types of arrays. Like fixed length and dynamic. Fixed length and dynamic. Okay, C# supports two types of arrays like fixed length and dynamic. Okay, say fixed length arrays can store a pre-defined set of values which should be specified at the time of their declaration. When you're declaring an array, you're required to tell the size and it will store you that many number of values on it. Cannot be increased, cannot be decreased. Okay? Whereas dynamic arrays can store any number of values. That is, when we keep on adding values, it keeps on understood? In the first one here, you need to tell the size. That size cannot be changed again. But second one, you don't tell the size. You keep on adding the values, it will keep on increasing the size. So there is no size limitation for this. There is no size limitation for this. Tell me in C language, what type of arrays you came across? Fixed length or dynamic? Fixed length. In C language, what we came is fixed length. And what I am teaching you now is also fixed length only. I will talk about dynamic arrays later in object-oriented programming. Okay, now? So today what I am touching you is only fixed length arrays. Dynamic arrays also we'll talk, but not now. Later we'll talk. Okay, now. How to declare an array? You remember how to declare an array in C and C++? Yeah, how do you write? Int ARR, tell the size, right? Is how you declare an array in your C language and C++, guys. So basically this is declaration and initialization, both the two things. It contains both in it, declaration as well as initialization. But when you come to Java and C# languages, the way you declare an array is completely different. How do you declare, Is how you declare. Again, this is the same story. What's it? You can write this code like this also. Is that clear? Declaration and initialization can be separated. That's how you write in Java and C#. So basically, they changed the syntax here. They changed the syntax. The reason for changing the syntax is in the older languages like C language, C++, the drawback is declaration and initialization cannot be separated. You cannot separate the declaration and the initialization. But if when you come to the modern languages like Java and C#, declaration and initialization can be clearly separated from each other. They can be separated. Did you understand me? What is the advantage of separating? What is the advantage with separating? Okay, let's talk. I'm writing a class here. The name of the class is math. Okay, the name of the class is test. And this class I'm writing by using C++ language. I'm writing this code by using C++ language. Now in this class, I want to define a set of functions. A set of functions like void function 1. Okay, void function 2. Void function 3. Array, what is the logic? It's not point here. Just I'm defining 3 functions in the code now. Now, in function 1 and function 2, both function 1 and function 2, I wanted to use an array with a size of 1000. In function 1 and function 2, I wanted to use an integer array with a size of 1000. Is the point clear? I want to use an integer array. What should be the size of the array? 1000. 1000 should be the size of the array. So when I want to use in both the two functions, tell me, where do you want me to declare it? A global declaration or local declaration? Global. Why? If it is a local declaration, 2 times you should write. But a global declaration, 1 time only. So now on the top of the class here, I'll say int ARR, int ARR of 1000. And we already discussed, this is now this array, guys, this array where I'm consuming, I'm consuming the array in both these two functions. Are you clearer? Now, there are 3 functions in my code now. Is it mandatory I should call all the 3 functions every time? Or can I call only the function I want? Tell me, a class contains 3 functions in it. When you're executing, is it mandatory to call all the 3 functions every time? Or can you call the function you want? You go to an ATM machine. ATM machine, when you swipe your card, immediately 8 options will be shown. 4 in the left, 4 in the right. Will you click all buttons? What do you want? You'll do that only. That is only my question. What's it? Is it mandatory to call all the 3? Or can I call whatever I want? I can call whatever I want. I don't require to call everything. Okay. So I'm just going to call whatever I just want. Suppose I am trying to call what? The third function. Which function? Third function. I called third function. I did not call 1 and 2. What I called is only third function. Now tell me, is the array initialized or not? Yes or not? What I called is third function. Is the array initialized or not? Yes. Why is it initialized? Because that is only the drawback I'm telling you now. That statement contains both the declaration and even though you use it or don't use, once the execution of the class starts, memory is allocated for the array. 2000 bytes of memory will be allocated, storing garbage values. Storing the garbage values. So even you don't use it also, it's allocating the memory now. Did you understand the problem? That is the reason why they changed off the syntax. How do you write? Suppose if this code is C#, how do you write the code? You don't you don't go for initializing the array. What you do is only declare the array like this. This is not initialization here. This is only. Then what about initialization? Initialization code will be inside of the function. If you call the function only, initialization is performed. If you don't call the function, initialization will not be performed there. Is the point clear? Now I'm going to call the function 3. Is the array initialized? No. No. Why? Because my code is C#. When is it initialized? If I call function 1 or function 2, inside of that the code will be present. What code? Initialization code. So when the functions are called only, these arrays are initialized. So did you understand the advantage with this now? Memory management here. Memory management was corrected a lot. Older languages and new languages, modern languages, memory management was corrected a lot. They have taken a lot of steps to maintain or manage the memory in a more effective way. Unnecessary allocations of the memory is completely removed off, is completely restricted here. What is required, then only will allocate the memory. Not required, no need of memory allocation. Is it clear? Okay, so this is why the syntax of the array declaration has been changed for you both in both in Java and C# languages. You can do it one more thing. This is also possible. What? You remember this? You can open the curly braces here and you can give a list of values also. You can give a list of values also. Okay, you see? First one, declaration and initialization with default value of type. What is the default value of type? What is the default value of integer? 0 here. 0. Default value of integer is 0. So now the array, all the 10 cells will contain zeros in it. In C language, garbage values. But C#, no garbage values. What will you have? zeros. Now, this is declaration. This one with default value of the type. Okay, here. Are you clear? Not default values with given set of values. I'm giving the values now. What values I give, it initializes with those particular values. Understood all the three? This is only declaration, but here it is initialization. Again with the default value. See, if it is a character /0, if it is a boolean false, if it is a string nulls. Clear? Because I already said to you what is the default value for every type. Integer, so 0 is the default value. Okay, so the point I'm trying to tell you now, in Java and C# languages, in Java and C# languages, to initialize an array, we must either use new keyword or assign values at the time of declaration. Read it carefully, guys. In Java and C# languages, in both the two cases, guys. We must either use new keyword, otherwise, look here, first and second case, we use the new keyword. After using new keyword, only initialization has been done. See, here use the new keyword. Here also use the new keyword. Then only second option, I did not use a new keyword. What did I show? I assigned a set of values. Either we should use a new keyword or either you should assign a set of values to it. In that scenarios only, your arrays are initialized. Is that clear? So let us see how to declare an array, how to consume an array. The first type of arrays are one-dimensional or single-dimensional arrays. The first type of arrays are one-dimensional or how will they store the data? These arrays are going to store the data in the form of a row. These arrays are going to store the data in the form of a row. You will be having the data stored in the form of a row actually. Is that clear? Okay, let's see an example how to use it. New keyword, not of a or assign values at the time of declaration. Spelling mistake. Okay. I'm writing a program, guys. I'll name the program as sdarray1.cs. sdarray1.cs. Using system, class, want to declare an array here. Int arr is equals to new int of 6. So internally what happens? Memory is allocated for the array 6 elements and stores value. What value? 0. All the 6 cells will contain 0 under it now. What is the name of the array? ARR. Index positions 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Default values, all zeros. Okay, now? This is how the array is created. How to pick the values now? ARR of 0, ARR of 1, ARR of 2, ARR of 3, ARR of 4, ARR of 5. If I want to print all the values, that is what I should write. But tomorrow 30, 40 values present means ARR of 0, ARR of 1, ARR of 2 will lengthy process. The simplest way how you can access all the values is by using a loop. The simplest way how you can access all these values is by using a loop, write a loop and access the values. Okay, so I want to print the values now. So I want to print the values, or I am accessing the values of a single dimensional array by using for loop. How to use a for loop and access the value? Let's see. Just watch. How do you write for int I is equals to, index starts from 0, I less than the number of elements in the array. How many? When the loop runs from 0 to 5. The loop runs from 0 to 5. I want to write only a single statement. So that's why I'm not using the curly braces there. Directly writing off. Console dot. I want to print all the values in one line. Single dimensional array, na? So I want to print in one line. How? ARR of I. That ARR of 0, ARR of 1 like this. But after printing a value, just to separate them, I'm adding concatenating a space. Otherwise, all 6 zeros side by side won't look like 6 values, na? So that's why I'm just concatenating with spaces. Okay, watch. Six values. But see, after that, the prompt came back again. There is no space at all there. Not looking good. So that's why after printing all the values, let me add a line break. Understand, you can use a write line statement without passing any value also. It will print you a line break there. Is that clear? Just to print a line break. See here there's no line break. But here, I separated that. That's all. I printed a line break. So we can use we can just use the write line method without passing any value for printing line breaks. Okay, all of you know for loop. I don't require to tell you about a for loop. You learned in your C language. So for loop runs now, starts with 0, ends at 5. In this process, one by one element of the array is going to be picked up. This is very old, nothing new. Now I'm going to teach you a new thing today. What's it? Accessing the values of a single dimensional array by using. This is the new thing, guys. What's it? By using for each loop. Line break also should come 5 times. Why, yaar? Why will it come? Array, for loop contains one line only, yaar. This is out of the for loop. This is inside the for loop and this is outside the for loop. Single line, nah. That's why I did not use curly brace. That is the code. Console.write line is inside the for, outside the for. Outside the for. So inside the for, how many lines of code is there? One line only, na? Array, when single line of code is there, no need curly braces. We already discussed, na? So now you understand. Now also for loop contains one line only. This is not part of the for loop. This is out of the for loop. Okay? Fine. Now what's new, guys? For each. We just need to understand about the for each loop. How to use the for each loop. Watch. For each int I in ARR. Just watch that. I'll explain you. Console.write I plus console.write. All of you have a look on the code. What's that? For each int I in ARR, console.write I space and console.write line. Let me print it on the monitor. You got the same output, see? Second time also you got the same output, right? So now the question is, how exactly this for loop executes? Listen, for loop. Sorry, not for loop, for each loop. This is specially designed. This is specially designed for accessing values from arrays and collections. Values from arrays and collections. What is the beauty, You don't require to specify the initialization. You don't require to specify the condition. You don't require to specify the iteration. Nothing is required. What to do? Give the array to the loop. That's all. Give the array to the loop. That's all. Once you give the array to the loop starts providing access to you from the first value of the array to the last value of the array. I'll tell you in a simple words. Assume like for each loop is a gun. Your array is a barrel of bullets. Your array is a barrel of bullets. The barrel of bullets filled in the gun now. The gun started firing. Once the gun started firing, what happens? One by one bullet will be released from the gun now. Picking from the barrel. Picking from the barrel, one by one bullet will be released by the gun. Yes or not? This is also same only. This is also same now. Your for each loop is the gun. And array is the barrel of bullets. Loaded now. The gun started firing. So one by one, bullet is released. Same way, one by one, value is released. One by one value is released. And how is it released? It is released by assigning the value to I. It is released by assigning the value to I. First time, the first 0 comes to I. Second time, second 0. Suppose, okay, all are zeros now. Suppose you think like the values are 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. First time, 10 comes to I. Second time, 20 comes to I. Third time, 30 comes to I. Is that clear? For each iteration, understand the meaning of for each. For each iteration of the loop, one value of the array is assigned to I. For each iteration of the loop, one value of the array is assigned to I. First iteration, 10 is assigned to I. Second iteration, 20 is assigned to I. Third iteration, 30 assigned to I. Fourth iteration, 40. Fifth iteration, 50. Sixth iteration, 60. Means in the process, you get access to all the values that are present in the array. Did I specify the initialization anywhere? No. Did I specify the condition anywhere? No. Or iteration anywhere? No. Starts from the first value and set last value. Now no need here. First value is the initialization. Last value is the condition. Next value is iteration. That's all. Automatically it picks. You don't require to specify any of this particular information. Are you clearer? Okay, we don't require to specify any of the appropriate information. What is it? The question? Why do we get 2 lines? What are you watching here? I printed 2 times. I got 2 lines. First I printed using for loop. Second time I printed using. That's why I got 2 times the output. Both I printed here. For loop also I printed. For each loop also I printed. Understood or for each loop? Yes or not? Now let's try to understand the differences between for and for each here in accessing arrays. The differences between for loop and for each loop while accessing an array. First, for loop. First, for loop. For loop. In case of for loop, the loop variable. What is the loop variable? I. Correct? The loop variable refers to index of the array. Array in case of for loop here, I refers to what? Index of the array. Notice that? That's why what we printed AR of I. If I print I, what it will print you? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You want to see values, index. So I refers to index. Whereas in for each loop, I refers to values of the array, not index. That's why I printed I only there. You noticed or not? If you want, try printing I in the first case. I'm printing I in the first case. If I print I in the first case, see, look this, all of you. What is printed? Index. But what you are expecting? Values. But index is what it printed to you. That is the mistake. So here I refers to what? Index. But here I refers to what? That is the first difference between for and for each. Second difference. By using for loop here, by using a for loop, I can access the values as well as I can assign the values also. What do you mean that? Now I shown you accessing now. Tomorrow you want to perform an assignment. What you want to assign? I want to assign values like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Start with 10, increment by 10 and assign values to the array now. Did you understand or not? Start with 10, increment by 10 and assign the values to the array now. Are you clear? So what to do now? Assignment is going to be done. How? Watch. Assigning values to a single dimensional array by using for loop. How do you assign? Again, for int I equal to 0, I less than 6, I plus plus. And here you say ARR of I is equals to 10. If I write like this, what happens? All the 6 cells are assigned with 10 now. All 6 cells are assigned with 10 now. Watch it, all of you. All 6 will contain 10 now. But what's my requirement? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Start with 10. Increment by 10 and assign. Okay? And to do that, just watch it. Here, I'm declaring a variable x. What is the value? 0. Now coming here, inside of the for loop, I'm writing x plus is equals to 10. And here I'll say x. Now tell me what happens. Every time the loop runs, x is incremented by 10. Initially it is 0. First time 10. 10 is assigned to first cell. Second, 20 assigned to second cell. 30 assigned to, when the loop is running now, it is assigning what? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 and 60. Clear? So now see the output. Are you clearer or not? So now see, I can use a for each loop, for loop, for. I can use a for loop for accessing as well as open the mouth, your assigning of the values also, both for accessing and, but for each loop is designed only for accessing the values. Assignments will not work there. This is the second difference between a for and for each. First difference is clear now? What is that? Loop variable refers to index. Loop variable refers to values. Second, for loop can be used both for accessing values, assigning values also. But for each loop cannot be used for assigning the value. For each loop can be used only for accessing. That's what I said here. It is specially designed for accessing the values. That's all. Assignment is not possible. Okay. Third difference. What do you know? The loop variable in case of for loop. The loop variable in case of for loop will always be integer only, irrespective of the type of values in the array. I repeat. The loop variable in a for loop will always be integer only, irrespective of the values in the array. What is that? Right now your array is which type here? Integer array. Loop variable? Integer. Tomorrow your array is a string array. If your array is a string array, then will you write string s is equals to 0? Huh? That is int only na? Array, why? That refers to index. That will never change. So your array can be integer array, double array, boolean array, character array, string array, whatever it is. Loop variable type will be int only. Am I right or wrong? That won't change because that is the index. But when you come to for each loop here, the data type of the loop variable will be changing according to the type of values in the array. If your array is a string array tomorrow, I won't write int I in ARR. What I should write, for each string s in ARR. It's a double array. for each double D in error. Why, sir? Because that is holding the value, not the index. This is holding the index. This is holding the value. Because it is index, it is always integer. Because it is a value, it should be same as the type of values that are present in the array. For example, look at this, guys. Int IARR is equals to I declared an array. Next, double DARR is equals to something, some double values. Next, where? Oh, names doesn't matter, yeah. You can give any name. Don't bother with the names. Names are user defined. You can give whatever names you want. Okay? These are three arrays. If I want to access them by using for loop, how do you write? For int I equal to 0, I less than, just for understanding I'm writing, IARR dot length. Array, the previous also we done the same thing, 6. 6 is nothing but the length now. Okay? I plus plus. For int I equal to 0, I less than, DARR dot length, I plus plus. For int I equal to 0, I less than, SARR dot length, I plus plus. In all three cases, observe it, we have used int only na? Yes or not? But if at all you're using a for each loop, how do you write, Watch. For each int I in IARR. Come on, tell me. For each double D in DARR. For each string S in SARR. Are you people clear? Understood? That is how exactly we just required to use it. So the data type of the loop variable will be changing based on the values that are present in the array. If it is an object array, object obj in the array name. Okay? But when you come to for loop, always it will be same. Okay, right now, finally, what are the values we have in the array? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, right? This is how you are accessing the values also. Is the picture clear? For every iteration, one value comes to I. I contains values, not index. I refers to the values, not the index. But in for loop, I refers to index, not the values. That is the difference between for and for each. We can use for each loop different scenarios. But I hope you guys are clearer. Yeah, we're done with all these things yesterday. Arrays. I said it's a set of similar type values that are stored in a sequential order, either in the form of row or rows and columns. Either you will be storing in the form of a row or rows and columns. Okay. In C# language also we access the values of an array by using the index only, which will start from 0 and end set number of items minus 1. Number of items 1. In C#, arrays can be declared either as fixed length or dynamic, where a fixed length array can store a predefined number of items, whereas the size of the dynamic array increases as we add new items to it. You keep on adding the values, it keep on increasing the size. Okay now? And the first what we learned is the one-dimensional arrays. These arrays will store you the data in the form of rows and in the form of a row. In the form of a row. How do you declare it? Check out the syntax, guys. Type, square braces, array name is equals to new, type, length or size. You see now? Int is the type, square brace, arr is the name, is equals to new, int of. What is that? Declaration and initialization. Here you are performing both the declaration as well as the initialization also. Both the two things are present here. This one is declaration, initialization. Again, this is declaration here. But what? Given set of values, we are giving a set of values there. Based on that, it is just going to declare and initialize. Is that clearer? And this is the example code what I shown you. The first example. I defined a class. Yeah, we defined a class here. Main method. First I called console.clear, you know that. Declared int I is equals to 0, arr. First. Accessing the values by using for loop. Understood the code? Explained already. Next. Assigning the values to a single dimension by using for loop. Assignment. Again. I shown it like this here. First accessing, assigning, accessing. First accessing what? Default values. Next, I have overridden the default values with new things by assignment. Again, I access the new values. First, the default values are accessed. Last, new values are accessed. In middle, we have assigned the values there. Is that clearer, all of you? So this is my first program on the arrays. Okay. Now, listen to this carefully. Arrays basically are value types or reference types. An array is a value type or reference type. It's a very important question in trios here. Arrays are reference types, not value types. Integer array, integer you use, double you use, not matter. Arrays are reference types. Why? Listen. How do you identify value types and reference types? Means how do I discriminate? How should I discriminate? Tomorrow, somewhere, some question arises. I need to clarify myself. It's a value type or reference type. I'm not about asking someone. You should get a clarity. Nah? How do you decide this? See, int I is equals to 100. Sorry, int I. Integer. Do you know the size? Do you know the size of integer? I did not assign a value. Do you know the size of integer? Why no, yaar? 4 bytes. Nah? Why you're telling no? We all discussed it. Int is 4 bytes. So we know the size of it. Correct? Do you know the size? Do you know the size? No, we don't know the size. It's a variable length type. Okay? Do you know the size? No. No initialization. At the time of declaration, if the size is not known, that's always a reference type. Did you get my point or not? At the time of declaration, if the size is not known, that's always a reference type. If the size is known, it's a value type. Are you clearer? So arrays are value types or reference types? Reference types, because declaration time size is unknown. When you come to know initialization, that's a different story. But declaration time without initialization, you need to understand size is known or not known. Size not known, reference type. Size known, value type. Is it clear? For int, even though I don't assign any value, size is known, it is 4 bytes. But string also it is unknown. For array also, it is unknown. Don't forget, this is another very important question in interviews. An array is a value type, a reference type. Array is a reference type. If the question raises like, can you judge? Why are you calling it reference type? What's the answer? Declaration time, if the size is unknown, that's always a reference type. Cannot be stored inside a stack. Should be stored in a heap memory only. Okay, now. Next. One more thing I don't know. Guys, listen. We have used some predefined classes till now. Console, convert. These are some of the classes we used till now. Console class, convert class. Same way, we also have a class called array. We also have a class called array. There is an array class here. Array class, yes. There is a predefined class called array under the same system namespace. And this class provides you with a set of members using which we can manipulate arrays. We can manipulate the array. What is the class name? Array. Namespace. This is the class here. System.array. What is this? It is a class. And in this class, we have a set of members using which we can manipulate an array. For example, do you remember in C language, if at all you want to sort the values of an array, you're taught with sorting algorithms, bubble sort, quick sort. Oh, different type of sorting algorithms are there. We'll be writing some logic manually to sort all the values. But in C#, the class array directly provides you a method called sort. There is a direct method called as sort. What to do? Pass the array whose values has to be sorted as a parameter to it. That's all. It will sort and give you. No need to write any logic. Call the method, that's all. Which method? Sort method. Pass your array, it will sort and give you. Okay? Same like that, guys. Generally, when it sorts in ascending or descending. When it sorts, sorting will be by default ascending or descending. Ascending, yeah, it is ascending. There is no method for descending sort. So, but you want descending. Then you call reverse. You first call sort and then call reverse. It will reverse the values of the array. Changes to descending order now. Okay. You have a method called as copy. What is the use of the method? It is used for copying the values from one array to another array. I have two different arrays and I want to copy the values from array 1 to array 2 now. So if at all you want to copy the values from one array to another array, we can just use that method now. Which method? The copy method. It takes 3 parameters here. What are the 3, First parameter. Array source. From which array? From which array? Next, array destination. To which array? From which array? To which array? Third, how many values you wanted to copy. Understood? Next, there is a method called getLength. There is a method called as getLength. What is this getLength? This method actually what it does, we use this method on 2-dimensional arrays. We still did not start the discussion with 2-dimensional arrays here. But when we start the discussion with 2-dimensional arrays, I'll show you. We use this method with the 2-dimensional arrays. For what? The method will tell you how many rows are there and how many columns are there. Both it will tell, yes. Only thing is, the dimension value should change. If you give the dimension as 0, it will tell you number of rows. If you give the dimension value 1, it will tell you number of columns. The same method, if the parameter changes, will give you a different result. 0 will give you rows and 1 will give you columns. Understood? And also we have one more thing called as length. Just now I said about this here length. Array IARR dot length, DARR dot length, SCR dot length, written right now, na? That's the length. It will tell you the number of items in the array. The number of items in the array. If it is single dimensional array, total columns. In a two dimensional array, rows into columns. Did you catch my point? Suppose your array is a 4 by 5, 4 rows, 5 columns. So length is 20 now. Understood? It is single dimensional array, number of columns. Now, when I just called in the previous example, single dimensional array, length is 6. So it is going to be 6. But you have rows and columns. Number of rows into number of columns. That is the length. This will tell you number of rows and number of columns. This will tell you total number of rows into number of columns. That is the difference. Look here, guys. What is this method? Method. All these are predefined methods in the class here. But when you come to the last one is not a method here. It is a property. What is property? Field here. No braces. See, it's a field, global variable in the class. It's a global variable in the class. It's not a method. It's only a field. Okay. The other name for field is, we call them as property. We'll discuss about it in detail later. But now today I'm calling it as field. It's just a field. Fields will not have braces. Methods will have braces. So anytime in the calls, if you find methods there, if you find braces there, automatically you must understand this is a method. If you don't find brace there, that is a property, nothing but field. Okay. I'll show you a small example to you to understand all these things. Have a look. I'm writing another program. Okay now? Sorry. Notepad sdra2.cs. Did you understand the error? There is no file called sdra2.cs. Yeah, that's what it is telling you. Source file is not found. You did not write still. Okay. Using system. Class. Here, I want to declare one array. Here, I just wanted to declare one array. A simple array is what I just wanted to declare with a set of values in it. Have a look, guys. Okay, now. Oh, sorry. Yeah, watch. Third option, declaration and initialization with a given set of values. How many items are there? Multiple are there. I don't know how many are there, but multiple items are there. Now I want to print all the values on the monitor by using a for loop. I want to print all these values on the monitor by using a for loop. So if at all you want to print them by using a for loop, how do you write? For I is equals to 0. This is always fixed. No difference. I less than ARR dot. Don't count here. Without counting, simply say ARR dot length. That's all. It is less than the ARR dot length. Okay. And then console dot write ARR of I plus space. Console dot write line. Now we don't give you the error. Now the source code is available. Okay. All values. First value is 54. Last value is 96. You can see. Okay. Can we now get these values? Can we now get these values in a sorted order? Can we now get these values in a sorted order now? I want to get the values in a sorted order. Yeah, we can. How do you? Array dot sort. Array dot sort. What should I pass? AR. It will sort and give you all the values in the array. It will sort and give you all the values in the array. All values in the array are sorted. Can I print them again and see the output now? I want to write a for each loop. Help me, please. For each int I in ARR. Guys, don't look into your notes. Don't look into your notes. Concentrate on the screen. The notes is given for you to just watch in the home, not in the classroom. In the class, concentrate on the classroom. Don't prompt the answers by looking into the notes. You will not learn. What you're doing is prompting, that's all. So my advice is concentrate on the class, what I'm telling. Okay, don't look into the notes when I was talking. For each int I in ARR, okay. Console.write I plus space. Again, without combining all the outputs here, I'm just coming to the next line there. Three is the least value, 96 is the highest value. Is it clear? Can I get them in descending order? Can I get them in a? But what did I say? For descending, the sort method will not work out. What to do? Reverse. You need to go for reverse. So let me copy this code as it is. Paste again. And simply call the method. What is that? Reverse. The values are reversed now. And now you can see the output in the descending order. Are you clear? And very importantly, remember, you called sort. You called a sort method, sorting the values. After sorting is completed, again, you feel like I want to get back my original arrangement. You cannot get back. Originally, the values are 54, 79, 59, something. You called sort. After calling sort, again, you say, no, I want to get my original arrangement back again, means you cannot get. Why, sir? Because the sorting or reversing or whatever it is done under the same copy. Another copy is not created. Did you catch my point or not? If another copy is created, old copy will be present, but another copy is not created. What's it? Same copy only. But we have values in that. In the same copy only, rearrangement is done. In the same copy only, reversing is done. Everything is done on the same copy. Multiple copies won't be created. Why? Memory waste. Tomorrow 1000 values are there. You called a sort method, one copy, reverse method, another copy. Like this, it will create now 1000, 4000 bytes, 4000 bytes, 4000 bytes, 12,000 bytes of memory. Are you clear? So remember this one. Multiple copies won't be created. How many copies? One copy only. And all actions will be performed for you under the same copy. Another copy will not be. Again, you want to get back the original. You cannot get back again. Am I clear? Next, what I'm doing now is I want to declare one new array. Int BRR is equals to new int of 12. So declared a new array, guys. Now, what are the values in the array by default? All zeros. New array na? All are zeros. Correct? All are zeros. Now, what is my requirement? The first 7 values of ARR, I want to copy into BRR. The remaining values will be 0. I want to copy how many? 7 values of ARR into BRR. 7 5 is your choice. Okay. So how to call that? How to do that? Array dot call the method. Which method? First parameter, source. From where you want to copy? ARR. Second, destination, BRR. Third, how many you want to copy? Understood the 3 parameters now? First one is from where you want to copy. Second one is to where you want to copy. Third one is how many values you want to copy. And one more thing I want to tell you. You can copy values only from the first. I want to copy randomly, sir. Not possible. You only should write logic for it. The original method, what is available, will copy from the first place only. Randomly copying or copying from the middle is not possible. From the first place, how many values you want to copy, it will copy. That's it. Okay. So now you see, after copying this, 7 values will be copied. The remaining 5 should be 0 only. Okay. Are you clear? Except get length, I shown you using all the remaining 4 members now. What for? Length. I used the length, sort, reverse, copy. All I used. What I did not use is only get length, because I clearly said to you, get length is used with 2-dimensional arrays, but not with a single dimensional array. That's purely used with the 2-dimensional arrays. Okay, whatever it is. So it's a for loop, and there's a difference with for loop and for each loop. All the things what I explained. And this is the array class and its members. This is about the array class and its members. Okay. First one is sort. Second, reverse. Third, copy. Copies from one to other. Get length. And the last one is length. Okay. Length. So the first one is a method. Yeah, guys. The first one is a method. Second one is a method. Third one is a method. Fourth one is a method. And the fifth one is not a method. It is a property. The other thing is property or a field. We also call it as a property or a field. Whatever it is. It is a field actually. Okay. So this is the second example I shown you now. A class. A main method in the class. Yeah. Have a look. First, clear everything. Declare the array. I'm printing the values as is by using a for loop. Second, you're calling sort and reprinting the values. Next, you're calling reverse, reprinting the values. Finally, copy and reprinting the values. Okay, now? So, any doubts with arrays? Any doubts with for each loop? Because we'll be using this for each loop a number of times in our code in the future. Are you clear? We'll be using it for a number of times in our code in the future. We'll be using the for each loop to access the values basically. So that's the simplest, easiest way here. No need to know the size or anything. That only will take care. I'll show you one more beautiful thing with the for each loop. Watch it. What did you learn now? Single dimensional arrays, right? Now what are the other type of arrays? 2-dimensional, which will store you the data in the form of rows and columns. Rows and columns. Okay, what is that? 2-dimensional arrays. How do they store? Rows and columns. How do we declare them? Int. Listen guys, if I put like this, what is it? Array, right? Yes or not? Single dimensional or 2-dimensional? 2-dimensional now. That's it. Put a comma in the double in the brace, indicates it is a 2-dimensional array. ARR, same where, is equals to new int of. Now here you're required to tell the rows and columns. But for a single dimensional array, what we say is only columns. But here rows also, columns also. To indicate it's a 2-dimensional array, we put a comma there. Point clearer or not? Okay. And you can write, what is that? Again, same story. Declaration and initialization with default values of type. With the default values of type. Next. The other way of writing this code, ARR. ARR is equal to new int of 4, 5. Sorry. Initialization with default values. Third option. Is equals to open the curly braces and here you can give list of values. And this is also with given set of values. All only thing is in the square brace we put a comma and in the other side we specify rows and columns. Other than that, there is no difference between a single dimensional array and a two-dimensional array. Both are very, very similar to each other. Okay. Now look, I'm writing a small program here. TD two-dimensional array.cs. Using system class TD array. Clear? How many rows and columns? 4 rows, 5 columns. That is how the array is created. 4 rows, 5 columns. Every row has a row index starting from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. Every column has a column index. Every cell has a cell index. What's the cell index? What is the cell index? Combination of row and column index. See the first row column cell index 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4. Second 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4. 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4. And 3, 0, 3, 1, 3, 3, 3, 4. Are you clear? Okay. And right now I did not represent it there. But by default, all of them have their default value 0 only. I did not show there because I just put the cell index there. I did not put the value. Value is 0. You already know that. Integer type. Initialize it with 0. So shall we print and see? How many values are there? 20. Correct. Shall we print and see? Okay. If at all you want to print and see now, then remember, if at all I'm using a for loop, I require to write 2 loops. 1 loop referring to the rows and 1 loop referring to columns. Can you write the code in a single loop? Not possible. You're required to go for using a nested for loop. You're required to go for using a nested for loop. 1 loop should refer to rows and 1 loop should refer to columns. We call that as a nested for loop. We're required to write like this. But see the beauty of for each loop. Watch guys. See the beauty of for each loop again. The for each loop will not ask you to write multiple loops. Watch. Accessing values of a two-dimensional array by using which loop? For each loop. Now also same code here. For each int I in ARR console dot write I plus observe it all of you. CSC TD array.cs. TD array. Count it, 20 zeros. Count if you want. Got it? All 20 zeros. See the beauty, guys. We did not tell the number of rows. We did not tell the number of columns. Started with first row, first column. Ended at last row, last column. No need to tell the row size. No need to tell the column size. Nothing. Did you understand the beauty of the for each loop now? That's why I said you will be using this loop extensively going forward in our applications than the regular for loop. For each loop is mostly used. But it doesn't work for assignments again, only for accessing. Already clarified you. Assignments cannot be done by a for each loop. You can do it only by for loop. Okay. Well, one more thing, just let me show you. Yeah, watch it. Console dot write line. Number of rows. How many rows are there? I want to show. How to get ARR dot get length of 0. Is it clear? The 0 indicates rows. It'll tell you the number of rows. Okay. Same way, console dot write line number of columns. How do you get the number of columns? ARR dot the same function but pass 1 will tell you number of columns. Okay, now I want to find out the number of cells also. How many cells are present? Okay, we can find out. Console dot write line number of cells. ARR dot length. That's what we should use. Length. Length will tell you the total number of cells. Did you understand the difference between get length and length? Watch the output. Number of rows, 4. Number of columns, 5. Number of cells, 20. I hope you are clear with the length property. Length won't tell you number of column, but it tells you number of cells. If it is a single dimensional array, in one row, how many cells are there? If it is a two dimensional array, in all rows, how many cells are there? Okay, that's what. And the 0 and 1 is clear. Rows, columns. 0 indicates rows and 1 indicates column size here. And here I printed the values by using a for loop, by using a for each loop, simple way. I can use a nested for loop. I can use a for loop also, but if I use a for loop, one for loop will not do the job. How many? 2 for loops I should use. I need to use 2 for loops. Shall we try for loop now? Not 1, guys. How many? 2. How to write? Accessing values of a 2-dimensional array by using nested for loop. Single for loop will not work, so it's a nested for loop. Okay, all of you, observe carefully. Might be you learned in the C, but again, I'm just demonstrating you. For int I is equals to 0. Is it the outer loop first? This loop refers to rows. This loop refers to rows. Should execute how many times? 4 times. Should execute how many times? 4 rows only there na. Should execute 4 times. So what you write? I less than ARR dot get length of 0 I plus plus. Is it clear all of you? Yes or not? Okay, that's what. We are referring to the rows there now. Means I less than 4. Means runs from 0, 1, 2, 3. That's it. Okay. Now another for loop now. Second for loop. For int j equals to 0, j less than, basically guys, j refers to the number of, inner loop refers to the number of columns. It refers to columns now. So it should be less than 5 now. Correct? What shall I write? ARR dot get length of 1 j plus plus. Are you clear? This is how you should write a nested for loop. Okay. Well, answer this question, guys. Anyone? How does a nested for loop execute? How does a nested for loop execute? First, inner for loop will execute. Afterwards, oh, you won't open the main door and you'll open the bedroom door. That's what you're telling. Inner for loop will execute first. Array, how will you enter inner for loop? Yeah, you need to start from outer loop only, not with inner loop. How does it runs? Listen. For each iteration of the outer loop, listen, for each iteration of the outer loop, a complete cycle of the inner loop will occur. Did you understand or not? I'm writing a comment there, see. For each iteration of the outer loop, a complete cycle of inner loop occurs. What do you mean by that? Outer loop runs for how many times? 4 times. Inner loop? 5 times. Outer loop 0 to 3. Inner loop 0 to 4. Correct? Okay. What did I say? For each iteration of the outer loop means outer loop. Okay, what is that? I. Start with 0. Start with 0. Now, a complete cycle of inner loop. Complete cycle of inner loop means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now remember, all the time, your I value is 0 only now. Correct or not? Now what will happen? I becomes 1. Now again, complete cycle of inner loop again. Now all the time, what is the value of I? Now again, I becomes 2. Complete cycle of inner loop. All 2's. Finally, I becomes 3. Now all the times I value. Now carefully observe. In this process, you are getting access to each cell of your array. Watch carefully there. First time 0, 1, 0, 2, sorry, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4. First row. Second time 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4. Second row 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4. 3, 0, 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4. Put this picture beside now. You compare both. You will get the clarity here. Are you clear? See that coordinates and these coordinates are matching now. Means in the process of execution of the loop, you are getting access to all the cells in the array. Correct? So what to do? Print them. Just printing the values here. How? ARR of, console dot write ARR of I, comma, J plus space. That's it. Okay. Oh. Watch it. Same output. But which one is easy? For each type, for each is simple. But advantage with for loop, assignment possible. Assignment possible, yeah. That is the advantage. Second advantage is using for loop, I cannot print the output line by line. What do you mean by that? Actually, 2-dimensional array, you printed in one line and telling it is a 2-dimensional array, you're cheating me. That's a 2-dimensional array, but you printed values in one line now. And how are you saying it is 2-dimensional? So you want to see the output line by line or not? But I can't do it for loop. Sorry, for each loop. Why I can't do? Because for each loop will never tell me end of a row. If it starts in the first row, first column, stops at last row, it won't tell you end of a row. But nested for loop will tell you. What will tell you? End of a row. How? Array, what the inner for loop is doing, can anyone tell me? Concentrate what is selected. What is that doing? Printing, yeah, printing. What is the inner for loop doing? Printing the values of the current row. Which row? The row pointed by outer loop. Did you catch my point or not? What is the inner loop doing? Printing the values of the row pointed by outer loop. Outer loop is pointing to 0. First row values are printed. Outer loop is pointing to 1. Second row values are printed. Did you catch my point or not? Say, actually, this I is 0 here. First row values are printed. Now after printing now, will you come out of the loop now? Will you come out of the inner for loop or not? So here, if I say console dot write line, what happens now? After first row line break, second row line break, third row line, every row will have a line break now. You can see the output row by row. This is the second advantage. See, everything has advantages and disadvantages. We need to use them accordingly. That's it. See now? Did you get the output row by row or not? That is what. Second advantage with for loop is this one. First advantage, assignment. Second advantage, row by row. For each loop is faster, simple, easier to write, but only accessing. That's all. Other than that, you cannot do anything there. Okay. Finally, look here. The inner for loop has how many lines of code? I am seeing one only. Where you seeing two? One only, na? Curly bracer mandatory or optional? That is the code. This is the code for accessing by using for each loop, and this is the code for accessing by using nested for loop. Nested for loop. And this code can be also used for assignment now? Yes or not? Okay, we'll put that also quickly. In middle, I'm writing a what? Assigning values to a two-dimensional array by using nested for loop. Okay. So here, don't write code for accessing. Write code for assigning. So when you're not accessing, no need of write line again there. Only assignment code. What is the code, guys? Error of I comma j is equals to 5. What is assigned? All cells are assigned with 5 only. Yes or not? All cells are assigned with 5 only. Everything is assigned with 5 now. No, I want to start with 5, increment by 5 and assign. Just half an hour back, I explained you how to do that. Declare a variable on the top, x. What is the value? 0. Come here. X is equal, x plus equals to 5. Come here. X. That's all. Ray, in previous example and current example, the code is exactly same here. First, I used a loop and printed original values. Second, I used a loop and assigned values. Third, I used a loop again and printed the new values. Am I clear? In the first program also I shown the same thing only. In the current program also I shown. I mean, single dimensional arrays, two dimensional arrays, I shown you same only. Nothing difference. Clearer? Just check it out. Started with 5, ended with 100. Why? Incrementing by 5 na? Ended with 100. Clear? Let's stop it here, guys. We'll continue tomorrow.
Recording stopped.